Welcome to Grade 11 CAT. Today we're starting a new section, a very exciting section, HTML. You will be using this software to be able to design your own website for your PAT at the end of this year. So let's jump right in and get to know how to code our own website. Okay. There we go. Okay, so HTML. Some of you may have already played around with this. It's really easy. It's a very fun section to work through, and you get to explore and bring out your own creativity with HTML. So let's just quickly take a look at the background of HTML. HTML was first created by Tim Berners-Lee, Robert Cowlier, and others starting in 1989. So it's really not an old language. It's only been around a couple of years. It stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext means that the document contains links that allow the reader to jump to other places. So if you've seen on an email or on Google where a sentence is either in blue or has a line underneath it, then you know that there is a hyperlink attached to it. So the latest version is known as HTML5. Now, as of this year, students are allowed to use HTML5 and CSS. It is still new to the curriculum. We will be exploring the basics of it. But for now, we're going to just focus on straight HTML. Now, the two things that HTML5 uses are tags and attributes. Okay, so tags they define what needs to happen. And the attributes will say to you, so a tag could be, for example, a font. An attribute will tell me what type of font, like Comic Sans or Arial or Times New Roman. HTML tags are element names surrounded by angle brackets. So we call these greater than and smaller than signs angle brackets. So the way a tag is set up is I place my opening tag, tag name, whatever content I need on the inside, and then very importantly, a closing tag. So I need the / at the end. Now, a little trick that they've done a couple times in the matric exams is they will leave off a closing tag. And then you open your website or the question on HTML and you're faced with a blank screen. And you're like, well, where's the question? What must I do? If that ever happens to you, know immediately that you need to go and place a closing tag. So, HTML tags normally come in pairs, like P for paragraph, an opening tag, and then how do I know it's a closing tag? It will have a /. The first tag in a pair is the start tag, and the second tag is the end tag. The end tag is written like the start tag, but with a / inserted before the tag name. The start tag is also called the opening tag, and the end tag is called the closing tag. Okay. Now, I'm going to quickly take you a walk through the basic tags that you will use to create your website. The most important one is your HTML. This is to indicate that it is an HTML document. So right at the beginning of your document and at the end of your document, welcome. I see there's some students that have just logged in. It's good to have you here. At the end, you will have the closing HTML. Then we have the head, the opening and closing. The head is to create metadata that will not be displayed in the web page. Now, what is metadata? You've come across this a few times since grade 10. What you have to do is you will, when you go to in Word and you go to File, at the beginning there's that info and all your information, like who is the creator, when was it modified, and all that information, the background information, that is called our metadata. The next tag that we have to use is the title tag. Now, the title tag, to create the text for the tab in the browser. Okay, so that tab is, if you're opening for example, Google Chrome, at the top there, you will have different tabs. The one, if you're in Google Classroom, it will say Google Classroom. If you are on YouTube, at the top, it's going to say YouTube. Okay, so the title there is going to tell me what the tab is called. Then the next part is the body. Now, the body contains everything that is going to show on your website. Okay. Like in Word, we've got headings and styles. H1 is a large heading. Then it can go all the way to H6. So in Word, in your styles, heading 1 for your main headings, heading 2 for your subheadings, heading 3, etc. This works exactly the same way. So all this basic HTML tags, that is going to be H1. The next part of your website, you need to have paragraphs. It is extremely difficult and boring to read a document that is going to run all the way from the top of the page all the way to the bottom without any breaks. Okay, so remember, when you are designing your website, you are trying to make it as easy and comfortable for the person who's busy looking at your website. So use paragraphs. Okay, then we have BR. BR stands for a one-line break across the page, so an open line. So, for example, between your paragraphs, you are going to want a space. So you would enter there a BR. And then, very importantly, how do I insert a line across so that I can separate sections? This is one of the questions or requirements in your website, is to add a solid line or a horizontal line. Okay, I'm going to activate the chat function so that if you have any queries, please feel free to type in the chat. Okay, so then let's carry on. Now, the way I enjoy teaching HTML is by using a burger. Now you're saying, what does food have to do with the website? Simple, let me show you. Okay, so let's just see, sorry, it seems to be there is some form of editing. We are struggling a bit with internet at this stage. I think the whole country is sitting on the internet. Okay, so remember I spoke about HTML. Okay, so my opening tag, that is the bun of my burger. Do you see? Okay, so to build a burger, I need to start off with a bun. Okay, so I have my top bun and I have my bottom bun. Okay, then I'm going to go to the head. So the head is almost like the garnish in my burger. So this is going to just be the title at the top, the tab. Inside the head, I'm going to add the heading of the tab. So there, like the lettuce and the cheese part. Okay. Now, the patty over here. So first, I'm going to mind the body part is where all the content of my burger is. So everything that has to, all the information about my website needs to go inside the body of the burger. So the H1 could be a heading. So here we have a double stack burger here. So there could be 2 headings. And then in the middle here is going to be my paragraph. That is the information, the attributes, all the what I like to put on my burger. Okay, so I hope you are all hungry at this point in time. I don't know about you, but I would do anything to go and get a nice takeaway burger at this point in time. So let's hope that lockdown finishes very, very soon. Okay, so let us go to the next slide. Okay, so now we're going to look at steps. I just want to make sure we didn't go off a slide. There we go. We're going to look at steps on how to design our website. So the first thing you need to do is you're going to create a folder for your website. Now, why is it necessary to create a folder? The reason being is because you're going to have various files and documents that are going to be linked to this website. It's not just one document like an Excel or an Access, okay? And a website can only, or HTML can only read everything that's inside the same folder. So what we do then is we create a folder for us called, for example, Folder Burger. Then all our files, our images, videos, text, anything that we are going to use in our website, the GIF, pictures, the documents, your Excel spreadsheet that you're going to pull into your website, all of that, we need a copy inside the folder, the HTML folder. Know and use correct file extensions when you reference a picture or document. So very, very importantly, not all picture formats will display on your website. The ones that are the most common and easy to use would be your .png. Now, how do I know if it's a .png? Whenever you have a picture that has those little gray blocks around the edges, then you know it's a .png. Now, why would I use this type of image? The reason being is that it actually cuts off the edges, that white block behind your picture, so that you will have just the image placed on your website so that it looks more professional. Okay. So the other type is the BMP bitmap. Okay. And JPEG. So you can make sure that you've got those 3 formats. Okay, so now what type of software am I going to use to design my website? If you are on a PC, I would like you to download Notepad++. You've got Notepad, but that is only going to save your work in text form. Now, be very, very sure. There are some students in the past that have tried to do their websites in Word. Yes, you can save it as HTML, but I can immediately see when you've used a Word document. So you are not allowed to use a Word document to design your website. You need to download some form of coding software. Now, Notepad++ is free and it's a very small installation. Okay, so you're going to open a new document in Notepad++ and then save a file name called Bilderberger. But very, very importantly, if I just click save, it's going to save it as a text document, TXT. So you will need to scroll down until about halfway until you see hypertext markup language file, HTML, HTML, SHTML, the different versions of our HTML. Okay. Now, the activity that you are going to do is in Notepad++, you're going to create the following web page. I'm going to show you how it works. So I'm first going to explain it. Here we've got the history of the burger. I decided to stick to the theme. and you are going to then design your own burger based on your dream burger. If you could have any burger right now, what would it be? Would it be a monkey gland burger, or a Big Mac burger, or something from Burger King? Okay, I want you to think of your favorite burger, and then you need to think of what goes onto that burger. Okay, so let's see. Once you have entered the code, you're going to click on save, and then you're going to click on the run tab at the top and launch your Chrome. You mustn't close your browser between codings, because what you're going to do is you're going to set it up, you're going to run it so that you can see it, but then you keep your web browser open at all times. And then each time you are simply going to be clicking on the refresh button, or F5. Okay, so let's go to I'm going to go out of presentation mode because I want to show you what it is, what it looks like as we are coding. Okay, so over here, now I'm going to just minimize it on the side here. Let's make it slightly bigger and reduce that completely. And I'm going to open Notepad++. So to start off, let me move this out of the way. Here I have Notepad++. So to find Notepad++, very easily in your search bar, you're going to type here Notepad++. Okay. Just make sure you spell it correctly, otherwise you won't find it. There we go. So there is the Notepad++ app. So I will click on that, and it is going to open Notepad++. The next part that you're going to do is you're going to click on File, and you're going to say New. Okay, so I have set your Notepad++ could have a white background. I chose a dark theme. I just find it a bit softer on my eyes, especially if I have contrasting light where I'm working. So you can decide what works easiest for you. Whether you want to work with a white background or a dark background, you can play around with the settings. Okay, so what was the first thing I said to you about starting in HTML? What do I need? I need my opening and my closing tags. I just want to make it a bit bigger. How to zoom in to enlarge it without doing any settings up at the top here. You hold in the control key, and using the scroll on the mouse, you will scroll in and out to make it bigger and smaller. Okay, so there we have. And now very, very big. Your English teachers won't be very happy with me. This is not an English essay, so please, you will see I'm going to be adding lots of tabs to make the code easier to read. Okay, so here I've got my opening tag and I've got my closing tag. The next step, that if you remember correctly, I needed to add the head section. Okay, so I enter, put my opening, and how do I close my tag? I put a / and I close my tag. Now what you will see is, as you are busy typing, there are predefined words in HTML. So as you start typing them, it is going to try and predict what you're doing. So if it is the correct one that you're looking for, double click it and it will open for you. This can help you type faster in the exams. Remember, you've got 3 hours in the exam. Question 1 and question 2 is Word. Question 3 and 4 is going to be Excel. Question 5 is Access. Question 6 is HTML, worth about 10 marks. Now, I expect 10 full marks for HTML from every single one of you. And then questions 7 and 8 are going to be solution development. Okay, so that is where they give you a scenario and you need to apply using all the software we have taught you. Okay, so let's get back to our HTML. Inside the head, I'm now going to put the title for my tab. So I want to call it Build a Burger. And let's just check, what have I forgotten? I've forgotten to write my tag. So we enter title, and I need to close my title. So there is the tab. Okay, so before I carry on, let me show you how to save. So you're going to click on File. You will go to Save As. It's going to open your lesson. Okay, so I'm going to call it Build a Burger. Okay, so what was the first step? I need to create a folder. So you go and create a folder, Build a Burger. Okay, make sure that you click inside your folder. This is something that the IT students also quite often get wrong, is that they will create their folder, but they don't actually go inside the folder to be able to save all the work in there. So we double click inside our Build a Burger. We're going to say the file name is Build a Burger. Now, save as type. You will see there's a whole lot of different types that I can save it as. What I want is hypertext markup language. So I click on Save. Okay, so there I have. Now to show you how to run your program. So I'm going to click on Run, and I'm going to open it in Chrome. So once at the moment now, you'll see, okay, well, that's not great. That's a blank page. Let me show you. There you have designed your title. Now you're not going to close this. You're going to go back to your Notepad++. I'm just going to open the two things next to each other so that I can see. Now the next part, I need to add the body. Okay, so let's enter the body, and we're going to use a closing tag for the body. Okay, whoops, check my spelling. Okay, do you see every time I click on the one of the options, it's going to highlight the second option. Now, if you are using the light theme, then it actually changes colors. One will be purple, one will be blue. So it really stands out for you, and it's very easy to see if there's a missing tag somewhere. So either an opening or a closing tag. Okay. So in the body, we are going to I want a heading first. So heading 1, and in my heading 1, I'm going to call it Build a Burger. And then I'm going to close my heading 1. Okay. After my heading, I would like a line. I like a horizontal line to define the difference between the heading and the rest of my website. So to add a horizontal line, I'm going to use the tag HR. Okay, so opening and closing. Okay, then the next part that I want to add is a heading 2. So a subheading. So this subheading is going to be called Burger History. Okay, your tags are not case sensitive, so whether you write it in capital letters or small letters, it is still going to have the same effect. Okay. Now, under my second heading, my subheading, I'm going to start my paragraph. So I open my first paragraph. Now, just because we've only got about 5 minutes left, I'm going to copy this information over. Okay. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so that you can see it. Okay, so there's the information. You will be able to find the data that you need to write in, but you can decide any information you'd like in it. So for each paragraph, I'm going to start an opening tag P and close it with a closing tag P. So as you can see here, thus the name. So let's first save so I can show you. So I'm going to click here on save. Hello, if you're struggling with the audio, you need to maybe turn up your sound in your computer. Let me just double check it does. I'm going to just pause the share. My microphone is working, so I can see at the top that the microphone is active. It might just be that your sound might be muted. Try a set of earphones, can also assist you. Okay, so now it's not going to know where the end of the line is. So you can keep typing and typing and typing. And even if you press enter, it will only know it's the next line, whether you use a break or a P closing tag. Okay. So there we go. I've got all this information that's said here. Let me just make it slightly bigger. The first known juicy hamburger patty was made in Hamburg, Germany, thus the name. Although it wasn't sandwiched between two buns yet, it was originally called the Hamburg steak. In 1921, the first fast food restaurant was opened with solid hamburgers for just 5 cents. Can you imagine? Nowadays, you go to some of these shops and it's almost 100 Rand a meal, and that is only a burger, chips, and cool drink. 60% of sandwiches sold globally are actually burgers. I didn't know if you knew that. Then McDonald's holds the record for selling 300 billion burgers till date. The company sells 75 or more burgers every second. Or maybe not at the moment. I think the whole world is actually in lockdown. So, okay. So now we've done that. Now at the end of this, I want to add a break. So I'm going to add a break. Remember, it's going to give me a free line. Okay. Then I'm going to do another subheading. So it's not the second heading, it's another subheading. And I'm going to call it your favorite burger. So now what you will be required to do is you are actually going to design your own website here. You're going to tell me about your favorite burger. So again, I'm just going to, for the sake of time, I'm going to copy the writing over here. And then I'll read it through to you. Okay, so remember each paragraph that it must start with the opening P and closing P. So write a short paragraph describing the world's best burger in your opinion. Think of what flavor, the toppings, sauce, and the different combinations there are. Okay, so you're going to tell me, describe for me in your website your favorite burger. Okay, remember to save regularly. Just to show you what this is going to look like at this stage, I'm going to go back to my website. Okay, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to press the refresh button, and voila, you have a website. Okay, so let's go back. Just want to add the last finishing touches to our website here. Okay, the last section I'm going to add inside the body of the HTML is I want a horizontal line again. So I'm going to backtrack one. I'm going to add a horizontal line so that it separates the two parts, and add one more paragraph. And in this paragraph, you are going to write here, my first website by, and now here you're going to write in your name. Okay, not my name, your name. Okay, and then don't forget to close the paragraph. There we go. Let's save it again, and we're going to go back to our website, and over there you've created a title, a heading. So there's our title, there's my heading, there's my first subheading with the different paragraphs. Okay, so for each one of these, if I didn't have that, do you see there? That's the name, although it's still one paragraph, even though it was on different lines. Then I put a break, okay, so that it reads easier, it's not on top of each other. Another subheading, my instructions, write a short paragraph describing the world's best burger in your opinion. And you're going to insert another horizontal line for me, and then you will enter your own name in there. Okay. I hope that you have enjoyed this section. I'm going to post the video onto YouTube and onto Google Classroom for you to be able to follow. And go ahead, this is the time that you can explore HTML. There are many different courses on your tablets, your cell phones that you can play for free, that you can learn HTML. Okay, so use this time to explore. Half of your final mark is going to be your website. So it's extremely important. The more you play now, and yes, I'm using the word play in a constructive sense, the more you will be able to do once we are back at school. Okay, have a wonderful time. I will log on. The grade 11s will have a lesson again. Today is Tuesday, so on Thursday, same time, same place. Have a wonderful time. Chat soon. Bye-bye.